Duet Night Abyss is set to officially release tomorrow on the 28th, and I know this video is cutting it close, but after the recent livestream showcasing pretty much everything we can expect on launch and even with later updates, it is pretty hard for both gacha gamers and non-gacha gamers to not be extremely hyped for a brand new game with the amount of potential Duet Night Abyss has. As most of you may know, the game has undergone quite a few changes and improvements over the last couple of months. Most importantly would be the removal of the character and weapon gacha system and making every character and weapon essentially free, which has massively shifted the structure of the game. So with its imminent release, I just wanted to provide a simple overview of how exactly characters are obtained and what you should focus on when you do head into the game, exactly how the new gacha system works that is now mainly revolving around cosmetics and the incredible customization they offer. Then I'll be finishing it up with some other aspects of the game such as its combat, gearing system, and the bunch of rewards we can expect on release. Of course, depending on how exactly the launch goes and how fun the game does feel overall, it's possible I will be covering this game and releasing more content, and if that's something you guys would especially want to see, I would really appreciate it if you could show me by subscribing and dropping a like if you enjoyed the video. As mentioned, the most insane change the game has undergone is essentially making every character and weapon completely free. Instead of a gacha system, you will be able to obtain characters and weapons that have just released and older ones essentially through grinding content, which immediately cuts off the FOMO gacha games have instilled, as you will be able to pick up your favorite character at any point. Now, with trying to keep this as simple as possible for obtaining characters, certain game modes such as the Immersive Theater and the Nocturnal Echoes boss mode will provide a currency known as secret letters. Each character has their own secret letter, and obtaining them will allow you to challenge covert commissions to then obtain their character shards. Covert commissions essentially being a spin the wheel type of system with a chance to throw out certain amounts of shards for the character or some materials. Once obtaining a total of 30 character shards, you will then be able to unlock them for free. Now that would be the standard route to obtaining characters in general, but there are a few other aspects and routes towards obtaining brand new characters and older characters. Firstly, when a new character does release, such as Psyche, which is going to be the first premium unit to release, there will be a period of 28 days from their release that their character letters are essentially rated up, as they are obtainable through the Immersive Theater mode. But then once those 28 days are over, the new rate up character will have their letters obtainable through the Immersive Theater. So with that being the case, Psyche's secret letters are moved over and can be farmed through the other game mode known as Nocturnal Echoes, but also simply clearing through enemies within Nocturnal Echoes, and via other permanent systems you will be able to obtain secret letter clues, which in other words are miniature secret letters that can be exchanged for secret letters you are after. The conversion rate is 10:1, meaning just by defeating enemies and putting more time into clearing dungeons, you will be able to speed up the process towards picking up any character letter and ultimately the character themselves. So overall, this all simply means you can pick up Duet Night Abyss whenever and would be able to grind for the character you want. But at the same time, if you do want the newest character or a certain character later on, you would want to ensure you do grind for their secret letters in the Immersive Theater to obtain them as soon as possible. Now in regards to the weapons, it is pretty much the same process as it would be for the characters, since the Immersive Theater will drop special tokens that can be exchanged for a weapon's secret letters. Then those letters, like with characters, will be used to challenge covert commissions to pick up certain forging materials to then forge the weapon. So ultimately, every character and weapon once again is completely free. Of course, there is the option to straight up buy the character shards from the shop with money, but with characters being free and with there being various ways to obtain secret letters, there's really no reason to spend money, and so does allow this game to be amazing for those that want to remain free to play and just enjoy experiencing the game with whoever they want. Now, with the removal of characters and weapons from the gacha system, the main focus of the gacha system on launch will revolve around cosmetics. Now, this is going to be pretty massive for a number of reasons, since first of all, there is no power progression locked behind gacha, but also for those that are especially fond of cosmetics and customization, you would certainly be able to expect some incredible outfits and cosmetics from this game, since it really is the main method Duet Night Abyss will be making their money. So it's fair fair to expect a lot of effort to go into them, and unlike some gacha games that do drop a skin every now and then, there should be some cosmetics dropping with every version update and even seasonal ones based on the time of year. Now Psyche's outfit will be the first premium gacha cosmetic available on launch, and you can really tell the amount of effort that's gone into it, considering the great level of attention to detail, and I can only imagine this will look far greater when seeing it yourself when the game is live. However, in Duet Night Abyss, you have a lot of freedom to express your own touch with these cosmetics, with being able to change up the colors of the outfits to even the visual effects, which really places much more value into cosmetics as a whole, since you're free to make them look however you want. Now, as for how exactly you can obtain standard cosmetics and premium cosmetics, outfits such as the Christmas themed one seems to be only obtainable through purchasing with money, but they don't look to cost much, as the Christmas outfit that can be equipped to any character in the game has been said to cost $1 when on discount. After a limited time, the price will become its standard full price, but interestingly enough will be permanently available, which means you would be able to pick up any outfit obtainable with money whenever you want, despite them being seasonal. Premium outfits such as Psyche's will be available for a limited time, and is essentially what you will be aiming to pull opposed to characters using the premium gacha currency known as prismatic hourglasses, which should be attainable through clearing events in game and will be given for free through login bonuses. As for the standard banner currency known as pristine hourglasses, they will as expected be used for a permanent banner that will also drop outfits for some of the characters on launch, and from what has been confirmed, outfits for Rebecca and a smaller version of Phoebe will be available on release, and I suppose many more will be added later on. Now, the rates of these skins haven't really been revealed, and so I can only assume they might be similar to some of the gacha systems we're already used to, essentially being around 17 to 80 pulls before you do pick up an outfit, and with there being a pity system. Details on picking up duplicate premium outfits is also yet to be revealed, but I trust the devs have seen this through and will have a concrete system in play for duplicates. All in all, the whole cosmetic gacha route is just a breath of fresh air after playing numerous gacha games that require you to pull characters and their weapons, but especially with the fact that these cosmetics don't seem half-baked and really provide players with incredible amounts of choice to customize them, which not only makes the game overall more enjoyable but definitely feel a lot more free-to-play friendly. Now, with the combat in Duet Night Abyss, it seems to be a lot more polished, considering the gameplay during the beta test did look pretty clunky and is something that personally turned me off. However, with the most recent footage of gameplay, it does look a lot smoother, which was to be expected. Now, as for some of the important stuff to note, teams in solo content and co-op will consist of 3 members, and like within other games, there would essentially be damage dealers and supports that can synergize with each other depending on their abilities. Additionally, characters are able to freely utilize any weapon in their game. There are benefits of using a certain weapon archetype for a character that has a specific preference, but you do still have the option of using any weapon for any character. Alongside that, characters during combat are freely able to switch between ranged combat and melee combat, which is pretty huge as it provides the freedom of skill expression and being able to use a character however you want. Lastly, and linked to the gearing system, the gear within Duet Night Abyss is known as demon wedges, and these are pieces of gear that have fixed stats from the moment you obtain them, which is pretty nice since the quite frustrating RNG aspect in other games is completely removed from the gearing system. As you might expect, you are able to obtain stats on pieces of gear such as an attack bonus or a crit damage bonus, but there's also bonuses towards attack speed and increasing the mag capacity of ranged weapons. So again, diving deeper into the depth of customization Duet Night Abyss has to offer, character builds are going to be a lot more expressive than the standard plain old stat bonuses that lead to more damage. Now, it's important to note demon wedges can be equipped by both characters and weapons, which means there's quite some room to build some interesting loadouts. But for both characters and weapons, there will be a certain level of tolerance you can't exceed, pretty much like with Echoes and Wuwa having certain points in cost and not being able to exceed the limit. Now, finishing this off with the fact demon wedges are are transferable to other characters and weapons, which essentially means once you have built a perfect set for a damage dealer or a support, they can be utilized by any character you wish to use, and so cuts down the grind of various builds for each individual character, especially when considering the fact that you can obtain demon wedges through defeating enemies, but also can exchange for them using secret letters, allowing you to pick up certain pieces you are after a lot sooner. So pretty much the combat and gearing system really is going to be quite unique if you're coming from gacha games such as WutheringWaves and GenshinImpact, given the level of player expression DNA offers from how characters look to exactly how they play. Overall, Duet Night Abyss is releasing with a ton of potential as it's pretty much captured the audience of both gacha gamers and non-gacha gamers. So its success really depends on how well they stick the landing, and so far from the launch rewards it does seem great, since already on launch we will be able to pick up a total of 7 characters for completely free without having to grind for their secret letters. Specifically, characters such as Outsider, Daphne and Margie will be obtainable via the main story. Veronica in particular will be obtained as a first login bonus as a pre-registration reward. Rebecca will be unlocked through Sanctuary, smaller Phoebe is going to be unlocked through a side quest, and then Lizbel is going to be unlocked through Mystic Maze, which is an endgame mode, and when reaching one of the lower floors you will be able to obtain enough shards to unlock her. So with that said, it's going to be ideal on launch for you to focus on clearing story content and aiming to unlock certain modes for the character you want most. But also for the featured character Psyche, you will definitely want to focus on immersive theater to gain as many secret letters for her before the raise up period ends. Now alongside those characters that can be obtained without grinding, you can also obtain 3 premium weapons through completing certain quests, a boatload of materials to ensure the launch isn't as slow, and a lot of free currency ranging from premium gacha and standard gacha pulls. So with all of that considered, Duet Night Abyss really seems to have a strong launch, but for me at least, and I'm sure alongside other players will be interested in how refined it feels. In terms of how the game looks, and especially with the sneak peek at version 1.1, the game undeniably looks absolutely insane and certainly could be considered as one of the best looking anime styled games out there. But looks isn't necessarily everything, and so we shall see how the game exactly plays tomorrow with the highly anticipated global release.